In this tutorial we're going to be extending the OIDC authorization that we implemented in the previous tutorial to include role-based, claims-based authorization. So previously we set up authorization to require an authenticated user to access our application. And we'll just run the application quickly. So we were working with our actor view earlier. If we try to access the actor component, we get an unauthorized message because we're not logged in. So we click the login link there. And now we see our username up on top, and now we can access our actor view. Okay, if we log out, then our actor view becomes inaccessible again. So now what we're going to do is we're going to extend that the authorization, and rather than having everything accessible to anyone who logs in, we're going to have two different roles of authorization. So we're going to have a user role that basically has read access to the application, and a manager role which has read-write access. And the two roles are arbitrary. You can pick anything you want. You can call it user and supervisor. There's a whole bunch of different roles that you can choose from for that. So we're going to open up our controller, our actor controller, and the only thing we're going to do is scroll down to the post method. Now the post method is used to save new records, and we're going to add an authorize attribute here. And authorize, and then we're going to specify the role. So roles equal manager, and we're going to apply the same attribute to the put method. The put method is used to update data, and we're going to also apply the same attribute to the delete method. Now if we scroll up here, you'll notice that we have the authorized attribute without any roles at the controller level. So that protects the entire controller. Nothing in this controller is accessible to anyone who is not logged in. But now we've made it a bit stricter. So that's actually all we need to enhance our authorization. We'll save that. Before we run the application, I'll show you that we have different user roles in our identity server. So I'm just going to log in. We're going to take a look at our users, and you'll see that we have a couple of different users set up. We've got a user called user2@blah.com, and that, if we look at the details, we see that this user has a claim of a role called user. So that's just a regular user. Now we have another user up here called mgr@blah.com, that stands for manager. And if we look at his claims, we see that he has a claim that is a role of manager. So now we can run our application. We'll rebuild our application, and we'll come back to our application. We'll refresh the page. So once again, if we attempt to access the actor page, we get an unauthorized message because we're not logged in. Now if we log in with our, it was actually user2@blah. We've indicated that we need to grant consent, which is why this page appeared, so we'll allow access to the application there. So now if we access the actor view, we can view the data, but if we attempt to modify the data, Carrie Fisher, it fails. We haven't added any messages yet, but we have protected our API. And if we actually inspected this and took a look at what's going on here on the network, you'll see that when we click the submit button, we got a message in return of 403, a forbidden status. And if we try to delete something, we'll get the very same thing. Okay, so if you come down here to this record, we try to delete it, okay, you see that again it does not succeed, And if we inspect the what's going on here in the network, okay, you see that again we're getting a status of 403 forbidden because of the attribute we added to the controller. And we get the very same thing when we attempt to create a new record. Okay, so it fails without any message. We're going to add a message shortly. So we've succeeded at protecting our controller. Now let me show you that if we log out as user and we log in as a manager, then everything will succeed. So we've logged out. So if we log in as a manager this time, now when we go to the actor page, okay, it appears like before, but now we should be able to actually modify our data. So Carrie Fisher, submit. You see that this time it succeeded, and there's her age modified to 60. And if we attempt to delete a record, okay, blah 47, we'll delete that. Okay, and now it's actually gone. We were able to delete it, and we should have the same success if we try to add a new record. Okay, so we're good. There it is. So we have full access with logged in as a manager, and we have read access now logged in as a user. So now what we can do, we can expand the UI a little bit and simply add a message to indicate to the user that they don't have permission. We'll go to our client component and we'll go to the index. And the only thing we have to do here is we have to come down to the method here that handles the delete. So I'm just going to paste a simple method here called handle delete. We'll take a look at it together. Handle errors. So the only thing this does is it accepts the response as a parameter, and if the response status is not okay, such as the 403 forbidden, then it's going to throw an error. Otherwise it's going to return the response. And so now all we have to do is modify our fetch here on the handle delete. Right here, right at the top, before we do anything else, we're going to call our handle errors. So it's then, actually we need this, handle errors. So we're going to pass the handle errors method, and then that's either going to return the response or throw an error. And then down here at the bottom we need to add a catch block. So right before the final semicolon, we'll throw a catch block here, catch, and we'll just we'll pass the error as an argument. We'll use a fat arrow, and then we'll just display an alert box. And that's all we need to catch the error and display a message on the delete. And actually we can do the same thing over in the create edit component. So we'll just copy this little block here. We'll go to our create edit. We'll just paste it right here. And now this time we're going to modify our handle save method. Right here after the call to the API, then we're just going to insert our handle error, handle errors. And right before the end here, we'll just add our catch. Alright, so we're good. So we'll rebuild our application. So we're going to refresh. Okay, and we're going to log out. So we're going to log in as our user. And there's our data, and if we attempt to make a modification, we get our alert. So there's our alert. It says error forbidden. That's the error message that's returned. Obviously you can elaborate on that if you or even change it to something more attractive than an alert. If we attempt to delete, we should get a similar kind of alert. Attempt to delete this block 51. Okay, error forbidden. So we get the message box, and we should get the very same alert if we try to create a new entry. So there it is. It's expanded authorization using OIDC claims and roles for React Turbo Scaffolding.